Today we're very excited, Pancho and I. Pancho, show some excitement, will you? We're going to get to show you how to do Autono.com's monthly car preventive maintenance checkup. And the reason why we're going to do that and why Autono requires you to do a monthly checkup is that preventive maintenance is very important. There's several reasons. One is the reliability of your vehicle. You need to make sure that your car is in very good condition so that it can take you to wherever you want to go, whatever you want to go, whatever time, and it will not leave you stranded. The second thing is the security and safety of you and your loved ones. Vehicles are heavy machines and they're very fast, and obviously you've seen the accidents. So you need to make sure that your vehicle is in excellent condition so that things like that and accidents don't happen. The third thing is inconvenience. Do you really want to be stuck somewhere when your car breaks down? I mean, it changes the mood on your day. Tasks need to be canceled. Things have to be postponed. Everything grinds to a halt because your car broke down somewhere. And last but not least, it saves you money. Little things that creep up can be caught very easily every month, and you can fix them without too much money or effort, instead of letting them fester and then they become a big problems, and then all of a sudden you have $1,000 repair bill and 2 or 3 days lost without a car because you didn't do preventive maintenance. So with that in mind, let's get to it. All right, I have a 2013 Range Rover Sport. It is an older car, but I've maintained it pretty well. The first thing that I would suggest to you before we start is that you should take the time to read the owner's manual. Okay, that manual has plenty of information about your vehicle, and I'll give you some examples of what you might be able to gather from it. This vehicle is a little different than most cars. For instance, it doesn't have an oil dipstick. You have to check the oil level from the instrument panel inside. That's something that you don't do. Most of the time, you have to lift the hood and pull the dipstick out and check what the oil level is. Another thing is this vehicle has 2 different pressures for the tires. The front have 39 psi, pounds per square inch. The rear have a 44 psi. So you need to be aware of that. And then there's additional things, like we're going to check the fluid levels in the vehicle. How do you know where they're at? Where do the signs show whether you're too low or too high, or whatever the case might be? That is all in the owner's manual. Okay, so now things that we're going to need. We're going to need a screwdriver. I'm old school. I'm not going to use a drill bit. There's not that much to do. And I've taken the liberty of spreading out my car emergency repair kit. It has several things in there that we're going to use today. One is the battery jumper and air compressor to inflate your tires. Next is the roadside emergency kit. We're not going to use that, but if you ever are stranded, it has all the tools and everything you need to be able to kind of safely stay on the side of the road. Next thing is something that's very indispensable, and that is the code reader. I just purchased this Bluetooth code reader that is really, I'm very impressed with it. This is my old code reader, and it's very basic, but it does nowhere near what this one does. A funnel, and the reason why that funnel is important is because when you have to add certain things, if the fluid levels are low, there's no way you're going to be able to do it without splashing things all over the place. The funnel helps you with that. A couple of pressure gauges so that you know what the tire inflation is. You can do it from this machine, but then you have to hook it up. This is very simple. And if you're overinflated, this one has a release valve right here on the side that will keep on reading and tell you where you need to stop to get to the correct pressure. Underneath it is the Autono monthly car preventive maintenance checklist. It's a reminder. There's a lot of things to check, so that usually when we come online, we're going to have that in an app. so you don't have to print it out and do something like that, but we'll follow it today. Gloves to keep your hands clean, and some of these things are dirty, so we need to make sure of that. Duct tape, just in case if you ever break down. There's electrical tape, zip ties, fuse boxes, fuses. This little thing I bought because it checked very quickly your alternator and your battery, and it tells you whether it's good or bad. In here, this was my old air compressor. I have tire repair plugs. I have a sealant repair, tire repair, racks to keep clean. The wiper blade, not wiper blade, yeah, windshield washer fluid. Some antifreeze if you ever run out of that, and some motor oil. Okay, now the number of items in your emergency repair kit is not finite. Obviously, depending on where you live, you're probably going to need other things, like if you're in a remote area, you might need water, you might need blankets. You're in a cold area, you might need other things. And if for your security, you know, get some pepper spray, whatever the case might be that you need in case of an emergency. Okay, if you want to know what to include in your emergency repair kit, let me know. I'll put down a link to provide you a list for you. Okay, so now we're going to start by doing the checkup items on the interior, and there's plenty of them, so that's why I printed out this list to be able to remember to do all of them correctly. Okay, so let's head over to the front and we'll get started. Okay, we're inside. Now, the first thing that I'm going to check, even though it's not on the first thing to check on the list, is the oil level. Okay, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because I'm going to probably need to turn on the car afterwards to do certain other checkups. And as I mentioned before, we need to have all the oil in the oil tank to be able to get a good measure of it. So let's get to it. Now, the way that you check the oil level here on this car is you press this once, the lights come on, you wait. Now we press this button, okay, one time. Okay, the tailgate is open, so let's go take care of that. I left it open. Hey Pancho, what are you doing? I thought you were gonna help me. Huh? Apparently not, right? Okay, back inside. Press this once. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, the lights come on. Press the OK button. Press the OK. And then you get the menu on there. You click down all the way down to service menu, VIN display, and oil level display. We press OK. And as you can see, the oil level is right on. Okay, so now we're done with oil level, and it's okay. So now we can turn on the car, and if you were to do this, then since it's okay, I would put a little check mark on that. If it's not okay, I would put an X on there, and then on the note I would put down what is wrong, how much fluid, oil it needs, whatever the case may be. Okay, the next thing on the list is the horn. The horn we're going to check because it's a safety feature for your vehicle. So well, let's check it. There you go, it's on. Check mark on that. Next are the wipers and the fluid. Okay, that works fine. Now let's check the wipers in the back. There you go, fluid. Looks like that wiper might need to be changed. So what I'm gonna mark on here would be the wipers on X, and I put on there rear wiper might need to be replaced. Okay, we're done with that one. Next, interior lights. All right, interior lights, let's check them. 1, 2, 3. That one's on. They're all on. The light all the way in the back turns on, so all the lights are okay. Check mark on that one. Next one is sunroof. All right, We're gonna press it, slides out, no noise, smoothly. This pops up correctly. All right, let's push it in. It works correctly. If I just want to raise the back, oh no, I pressed the wrong button. Hold it, raises up. Perfect. Sunroof is in good condition, gets a check mark. Next one is the center console. Okay, the center console looks in good shape. The only problem is that it's not leather. It looks like leather, but it's cracking. So I'm gonna have to get a repair kit and repair that. So I'll put an X on there and I say repair the center console. Next are the seats. So now we're gonna have to start getting out to check everything else. There's three things that we're gonna check: the seats, the seat belts, and the doors. Okay, so let's get to it. Now at the same time, now I'm checking the door. How did it open? Is it creaking? No, there's no problem. All right, now the seat belt. We just need to make sure that it is extended, that it clicks correctly. The first one done. Perfect. Let's unlock all the doors. Second door, fine. This has a crack right here, but it's been there for a long time. I'm not gonna change that. All right. The leather is in good condition. Seat belt. Perfect. Middle seat belt. Perfect. Now we're going to check the seat. That's it. Pull out. Perfect. We're done with this seat. We're checking the back of the seat. Checking the center console. Fine, no problem. Let's move on. We already checked the tailgate. It opens correctly, no problem. Next door. All right, the door is fine. The leather is good. Seat belt works as advertised. Perfect, no problem. Does it slide forward like it should? Yes, it does. Okay. Okay, that's taken care of. Last door, good condition. Chair is in good condition. It moves like it should. Forward, backwards. Let's do this. Seat belt. Seat belt is good. So now we're done with the seats, seat belts, and doors. We checked them all. Hey Pancho, are you waiting for me? Apparently not. All right, so we put check marks on doors on that. We already did the motor oil. We're gonna do the cabin air filter. Okay, let's turn off the engine. All right, this is kind of simple, but it's something that most people find very complex. And I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, let me get a couple things that I need and then we'll get back and do it. Okay, we're ready. What I did is I got the battery jumper and tire inflator, and I turned on the light for it so that we could see what's going on here. Now let me set this up here so that you can see. All right, it's very easy. Usually on the sides, on this one is this thing here, and there's another one on there. Okay, sometimes it's right over here and you press in and it unlocks. This one you push down on it and it will unlock. Okay, the cabin air filter is right behind here. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm gonna push down on both of them. There, it's open. Okay, now you probably wonder where it's right up here, right behind this little door. You press this button on this one and it's out. Then you see inside here is the filter. you pull it out. This is actually about a month old, and even though you think it looks dirty, it's not dirty. It's kind of like a charcoal treated air filter, so it has that gray type of thing. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that when I installed it, it says for this airflow, arrows should be pointed down when you install it. So I have it, my air filter is clean. If it wasn't completely clean, I probably clean it again on the floor, get rid of some of the dust, and obviously if it's to a point where it's really excessively clean, then dirty I should say, then you need to replace it. Okay, okay, that's it. Now, can it be any simpler than that? And all it takes is just knowing about this two little things that help you push it down. Okay, let's back up. There's no problem. Here's our owner's manual. That owner's manual is so indispensable. It's so indispensable. You really need to take the time to read it. Okay, we're done with that. Next on the list is to read our codes in the car, and we're going to do that right now. I already have taken my code reader inside the car. On this vehicle, I've had an issue for the last couple of weeks. It runs lean. It's telling me it's running lean, and what happens is it runs rough for about the first 5 or 10 minutes that I run it, and then after that there's no problem whatsoever. So we're in the process of fixing it. I've already went and saw my mechanic about it, and he's of the opinion, just like I am, that it's a do-it-yourself project, and the solution can be as simple as replacing a hose in the engine, which I'm going to show you when we get to the engine. Okay, so this is the code reader. As you can see, it has little tapered ends. On this code reader, you have an app that you download to your phone, and it helps you to read. Like I said, it's a Bluetooth, so it helps you to read the codes in your engine. I'm turning it on right now. It's connecting to the to this code reader. Now, before I do that, I actually pressed the wrong button on this. That's the wrong app. I connected to the camera instead of the scan tool. Okay, so first let me show you how to connect the code reader, and then we'll turn on the app. All right, first thing, here's where you connect it. There's different places in different cars. All right, so the tapered end goes on the inside. There you go, simple, it's on. Okay, next thing you do is you press once. If you have a key, you turn it once. You don't turn it all the way to turn on the car. It's already pairing. Okay. All right, I'm here, and now I'm going to check the engine. I'm going to say, even though it's a little bit higher, I'm just going to go with that one, with the mileage that I had the previous time, which was a couple of days ago. Scanning the engine control, generating the report is done. Okay, we found 7 engine codes. They're usually P0174, system 2 lean, P108, P0171, system 2 lean, in different parts. So then it tells you here, most likely fix. Replace air intake pipe, and replace the engine air intake hose, replace the fuel injectors, replace the intake air duct. Okay, now that's 4 options that this code reader is giving you, and they're at different price points. Obviously, replacing the injectors is much more expensive than replacing the air intake codes. Last week when I did it, it suggested that I clean the airflow sensors, to not replace, but to clean them. So I cleaned them, and that is not showing up anymore. So that's taken care of. Okay. Now the good thing about this is that that report that you saw is saved on here, and so you can take that report, make a copy of it, forward it to your mechanic, or take it to your mechanic, and then he doesn't need to do an extensive diagnostic check on the car, and he'll have an idea of what's going on. He's obviously going to check it, but he'll have an idea of what is wrong. Okay, and he won't go on a fishing expedition. So that takes care of the code reader. Okay, so now we're done with the list on the interior. The only other thing that I see here would be to check the windows. Check the windows. And one last window. Windows are fine. Okay. All right. So now we're going to start with the exterior. Okay. Now with the exterior, we're probably going to get our hands dirty, so we're going to have to put some gloves on. Before we do that, I need to take some pictures of the rear wheels, because we need to check the threads on the wheels. So first thing is, let me take those pictures on the rear wheels. On the front wheels, we can check it by turning the wheels in and out, and we can check the threads on them. Okay. All right. Let's get ready, and I'll join you again. Okay, we're in the back of the car, and I already turned on my camera. Now we're just going to take pictures. Okay. Now the other camera. First side was the driver's side. Second one is the passenger side rear wheel. Okay. Now I'm just going to inspect the pictures to see if I see any irregularities. The threads are evenly, they're all matched. There's no excess wear on one side and then the other. They look very good. Okay, so the rear tires are checked. Okay, so we checked the pictures from the rear tires. Now let's check the remaining. We've only really checked the threads on the rear tires, but there's much more to check. So here we go. All right, first thing we're going to check is the walls on the tire. Now, why am I taking all this time to inspect the tires? Well, the tires are very important. Next thing that we're going to check is the wheel itself. Any problems? There's some scratches and chips, but nothing major there. Okay, so anyways, tires are one of the few things that needs to be replaced in the car on a regular basis, and there's 4 of them. So, and they're not inexpensive, they're somewhat expensive. Now most tires are made to last between 40,000 and 60,000, and so that's something that you have to replace. And when replacing 4 tires is over $1,000, it's an expensive proposition. So you need to maintain them and make sure that they wear down correctly and they last longer to save you money. On top of that, the tire is the only thing that touches the ground. So the control of the car and everything else as far as movement is based on your tires. So when you need to brake because there's an emergency, it's on your tires. If you need to swerve to avoid something, it's on your tires. So having a good working tire is one of the most important things that you can do in your car. So that's why we're taking the time to check the tires correctly. Okay. All right. So now, next thing I'm going to check is the air pressure. Now, air pressure is in PSI, pounds per square inch. Okay. Now you're probably asking, well, where do I get that information? How do I know what the PSI on the tire are? Well, there's two places. One is the owner's manual. It'll tell you what it is. The second thing, it's always on the driver's side door on the edge. So let's check it out. It is right here. Okay. Now, as I told you before, this car has two different air pressures. It is the front 39, the rear 44. Okay. So front 39, rear 44. We're going to check that air pressure now. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can check the air pressure on this. You could take this, hook up the hose to it, and it will check the pressure and inflate it on time, but that's kind of time consuming. This is a pressure gauge. Okay, so all I have to do is connect this, and it tells me that the air pressure is 42. We're 2 psi's from the correct pressure. Now, the next question you might be asking is, how come I'm checking the tire pressure when the engine is not lighting up, showing me that I'm low on air? Well, the reason being is that the manufacturer has set a sensor for the minimum amount of pressure that is allowed before you're notified that it's low. So there's a lot of variations in there as to what the air pressure is. So it's very important for you to check on a regular basis. Okay. The next thing is that since it's only set up to register the low end, you can overinflate. And I had a car that I bought used that had overinflated tires, and the inside of the tire, this part right here, was almost bald because the air pressure had been kept too high, and it wore down the inside of the tire. The outside of the tires look perfectly fine. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to show you how to inflate the tire with this air compressor that I got. Okay. You don't have to go to the gas station. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, and you don't have to have quarters or anything like that. So you connect the hose to the proper connection. There's two connections on it. One is the air hose, and the next one is the car charging hose. Car charger hose, I should say, not hose. Okay. Next, we change to pump, and then we make sure that it's PSI. We put it at 44. Now, next we connect the hose to the nipple in the tire and flip it connected, and we press for 3 seconds the pump. It will inflate it to 44 and turn off. Simple. Very simple. There we go. It turned off. We check the air pressure. 44. Okay. That takes care of the first tire, and we're going to go and do all of them. One last thing to do is make sure that you cover the air intake with the little guard to make sure that air doesn't escape. Okay, now we're done with the tires. Well, we're gonna, I'm not gonna show you all of them, but you get an idea of the first tire. Okay, now we're gonna check the front tires. I have to turn on the car to make it easy to turn the wheels, so let me get to that and then I'll come back. Okay, let's turn on the car so that we can check the thread in the front tires. Okay, and I'm going to turn the tires all the way left. Okay, I don't need to take a picture because I can see it. This tire is in good shape. There's no uneven wear. Now, I forgot to mention something that that you need to do on the tire, and that is to check the thread as far as how much it's wasted and when do you know how to replace the tire. If you take a penny and you use the Lincoln side of it, and you put the Lincoln head upside down and you stick it in the groove, if you see the top of Lincoln, then you need to replace it. Another way, if you don't have a penny, is that you notice that the tire has little tabs with something in there. If this thread gets down to that level, lastly, you need to change it right away. Okay? So that should give you an idea of when you need to replace it. Alright, now we're going to turn it the other way to make sure that the other side doesn't have any surprises for us. Alright. I don't see anything that would raise the red flag. We're good on this one. You see the little tabs right here? Great. Tires are done. Okay? The next thing that we need to check, that thing saying, I saw it just before we headed down, is to check the body of the car for scratches, for new scratches or dents. Okay, the car is older, like I mentioned, so there's some things that are not perfect, but the purpose is to find out if there's any new scratches, any new dents that we didn't know about that we might need to be able to do something about. Okay, so we'll start right now. This was already existing. The lights, they don't look so perfect, but each one of these lights on this thing cost over $1,000. So we're not going to do that. They work perfectly fine. No cracks on the windows, no scratches that I can see, or new scratches. This was here before. I've seen those. No big thing to me. Obviously, it's subjective to you as to how perfect you want to keep your car. Some minor things you may let go. Some things are very important and you can't let go. So we checked that. Everything fine on that. Let's see what's next, okay? Okay, the next thing that we have to check was the lift gate, but we already done that, or the trunk if you have one. Next are the lights. Now, I suggest that if you have someone else to help you, it would make that a little bit faster and easier, because the person can be outside, you turn on the lights, and he will tell you if they're fine or not. Since I'm by myself right now, we're going to have to do that. There is a problem with the rear brake lights. You can't really check them without somebody, but if you don't, you can just wait until it's evening and then pull up against a wall, put on your brakes, and you check your rear view mirrors, and you should be done with that. Another thing that I just forgot that's not on the list is to check your rear view mirrors, okay? Those right there, okay? I'm just gonna move it a little bit to see. Oh, let's click it. And you can see it works. The right side, they work. Okay, so that would be something that you can check also. All right, let's do the lights. All right, so we're going to turn on the lights and go and see if they work. This is going to take a little while, not long, but a little while. Light is on. Light is on. Next, we're going to check the turn signals. Turn on the right, turn on the left. Light is on. Light is blinking. Light is blinking. the other side. Hey Pancho, you must be tired from all this, huh? Blinking lights, blinking lights, blinking lights. That pretty much tells you that the hazard lights are working, but let's check them just in case. Okay, hazards. And as you can see, your brake lights are on. All right, hazard lights. We've already checked the interior lights, so that should take care of our lights. The only thing that remains is the rear brake lights. And I told you you can wait until it's darker and then just back up and press your brakes and you can check. Okay. Next, we're going to get into the engine. We're going to check the fluid levels, the belts, the air filters, the battery, and we're going to end up with checking for leaks, and then at the end, the emergency repair kit. Okay, so let's go to the engine. Let's turn off the car, pop the hood. I think I'll leave my list. It's kind of windy here today, so obviously we're also checking the latch on the hood to see if it's working correctly. It opens fine, it locks correctly. So now first, before I start, I want to explain to you what the issue was with my code reader. This is the part right here where it can be the problem that's causing it. The air filters are here, and there's two of them, one on that side and one on this side. Then the next thing that you have is the airflow sensors, which I've already cleaned. They're right here. You just pull them out and use a special fluid to clean them out. Next is the air intake hose, and those are the things that I'm going to inspect pretty soon to make sure that they are correct, and then that all goes right into the engine. Okay, all right. First things first, I'm going to check is the battery. I'm going to check to see if there's any corrosion, if it's loose. Oh, that's a little loose right there. You see, we need to tighten that. So I'll make sure I do that. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check the air filters. Obviously, there's two of them. To save time, I'm just going to check one, and I've removed most of the screws. There's 6 screws to this, and there's 3 on the other side. I removed 4 of them. Let me remove the last 2 so that you can see. Now, I'm old school because you need to be careful on this, and if you've ever done any work on a car, one of the worst things that can happen to you is that you drop a screw somewhere in that engine. To find it, unless it drops all the way through, it's a major pain. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're holding onto this screw at all times. Another way that you can do it is if you can get a tool like a screwdriver bit that is magnetized, or a screwdriver that is magnetized that will hold the screw for you so that you don't lose it. But I tend to just make sure that I do it with my hand. And okay, my battery died before I could finish the air filter, so here we go again. Okay, so we've taken the 6 screws, and this last one somehow it's got attached to the top part of it. I can't. There we go. We got it off, and then all we need to do, is lift up. You see? All right, so we lift up. There's the air filter, and we check it. Doesn't look terrible. Looks good. Now, if it has a lot of dust or whatever, you can bang it against the floor or the grass to loosen some of that stuff up. But mine is fine, so we're just going to insert it right back. Now, remember, in this car, there's 2 of them, so you have to do both sides. Obviously, I don't want to spend 10 minutes showing you how to do the same thing. So that's it as far as the engine air filters. And then you screw the 6 screws right back on and we're done with that. Let me put this 2 screws back on and then we'll move on to the other things, okay? Okay, we're finishing up putting all the screws in the air filter, and now we're done with the air filters. Okay, next thing is we're going to check the fluid levels. All right, now once again, you probably should use the owner's manual to be able to determine how to read the fuel levels on this thing. So first thing is the wiper fluid thing. There's the I see the liquid, so we're fine. You can see that the level of the coolant is right there, which is fine. On the power steering, there's two little lines right here, high and low. The level is down here. This is the lowest level up here, so that's a little low. We need to take care of that. The last thing is the brake fluid. The brake fluid, once again, you check your owner's manual and it'll tell you that it's in here, and there's 2 tabs holding it. So 1 tab out, the other tab out. Okay, comes out. Here's our fluid. This is the max. That's probably down here. The level's right here, almost to the max, so we're fine with the oil level. I mean the brake fluid level. Okay, that takes care of it. Let me put this back on and we'll continue. There we go. We're done with the fluid levels. We checked the air filters. We checked the battery. It's all pretty basic, and it looks pretty good. The only thing, we need to add some power steering fluid and tighten up, which I already did while the camera was off, the screw. Okay. Last but not least is, well, there's really 2 things that we need to check. One is we need to check if there's any new oil leaks, and if you park your vehicle in the same position on a regular basis, you should be able to tell whether there's any new leaks or anything. That's kind of important because a lot of the issues that can really damage your car is the fluids that the engine uses to run correctly. So as I mentioned before, this car is old. We need to watch for Pancho. Okay, Pancho, don't get run over now. Okay? All right, he's excited. He's finally excited. Hey, Pancho, what's up? Okay. So, as we can tell, there's old leaks from oil. This is an older car, and it has the seals are not as fresh or as good as when they were before, and unfortunately, you know, you can't really spend thousands of dollars to drop the engine and change the seals, so you use sealers and stuff to maintain it. But I'm going off on a tangent. There's no new leaks. And another suggestion that I make to you is whenever you break down, whether it's in your house and you come out and your car won't start, or your car breaks down on the road, one of the first things that you need to do is check for oil leaks. And if there are some leaks, take a couple pictures to be able to show to your mechanic, and that will help them a lot. Okay? All right. The last thing that I want to talk to you about, let me turn off the engine. Let me move it up so Pancho has some room back there. Okay, let me see. Oh, you're jumping on my car, Pancho. What's up? Okay. The last thing that we have on here is the emergency repair kit. And the reason why I put that is there's a couple things on there that you need in case of an emergency. One of them being that car jumper tire inflator. And the manufacturer suggests that you need to keep it charged. And so the charge on here lasts for like 3 months, and to keep it in optimum condition, in other words, preventive maintenance, you need to charge it every 3 months. I usually charge it right after I finish this if I used it for the to add tire pressure or whatever the case might be to keep it going. And let's see what else. That's really it. I mean, before I used to have two of them. It was the air compressor and the car jumper that needed to be charged. Now I have this new machine that's just one, so that should take care of it. If you guys think that might be something you need as far as the emergency kit, let me know, and I'll start looking into putting something together for that. All right, that's it. We've done our monthly checkup. Now, I can only tell you about myself, but I think that you would feel the same way, is that I feel very comfortable knowing that my car is in good shape and I can count on it to do the things that I need it to do, and that it's not going to leave me stranded. Is it 100% sure? No, it's not. Nothing is. But after doing this, I feel good knowing that my car is in good shape. Okay. Now let me talk to you a little bit about Ought2Know.com. Ought2Know.com is something that I created. It's an online website that helps you in two things. It provides you with the knowledge, confidence, and the power that you need to be able to deal with your mechanic when things go wrong and you need to take it to a mechanic. Most of car owners know very little about cars. So we do that by providing online mechanic consultants to be able to assist you in dealing with the mechanic and understanding what needs to be done to your car and what's wrong with it. The second thing is part of what we're doing today, and that is to show you and teach you how to maintain your car in excellent shape so that it does what it's supposed to do, which is to be reliable and help you to achieve all the things in your busy life. So Ought2Know.com has not come online. They will be doing it very soon. But if you think that that's something that you might be able to use, there's a link underneath in the description that you can sign up to our email waiting list, and we will make sure to let you know when we come on and give you a special deal. Okay, it was great to spend time with you, and hopefully this is something that can help you. And Pancho and I wish you safe travels. Take care. I forgot to mention one other thing that Ought2Know.com provides, and that is an interactive calendar for your car preventive maintenance. And the good thing about that calendar is that I think it provides you with the most important thing, and that is to remind you to do things. Now, the checkup that we've done today is based on time every month. I don't know when's the last time you checked your coolant or whatever the case, but I'm sure it's more than a month. We live very busy lives, and if it's something is out of sight, it is out of mind. We forget about it. And obviously I showed you today that this is something that is very important, that needs to be done on a regular basis. And there's also some things that are based on mileage and not on time, such as your oil change or your tire rotations. So that interactive calendar will be able to assist you and remind you that those things need to be done. Okay? Thank you very much. Take care.